Hello, everybody, all my friends and acquaintances and family, if you're watching. Today we are playing Oxygen Not Included. So I played this game before, but it's had a couple updates since the last time I played it, so there might be things I don't know. As you can see here, we got this starting crew. We have Greg, who is a +7 construction. He's got Iron Gut. He's immune to food poisoning. Squeamish cannot do doctoring errands. He's an ugly crier, and he's a balloon artist. We have Dart, who is a +9 science. They have germ resistance. They're kitchen menace, and they're a vomiter and sparkle streaker. And then we have Dave. Dave loves to dig. He's got +8 digging. And then he's got shriveled taste buds, a small bladder. He's an ugly crier, and a balloon artist. And today we're going to be playing on the Complaint Factory because I have a lot of complaints to sell today. So, a lot of complaints that have been made that I am going to express to anybody that cares at all. Which I know is nobody. So, to all the nobodies watching this video, hello, welcome. Now we're going to embark on our journey. Okay, everybody. So, as you can see, this is Oni, or Auction Not Included. Uh, I'm not that great at this game. Just going to clarify that to anybody. It's like a veteran player or anything like that. I'm not good at this game. I just kind of willy nilly play it because it's fun. It's an enjoyable game. Uh, I always get stuck at some point. I do have the expansion pack for this game, and I saw that they added like weaving stuff in, kind of like oh, what's it called? Don't Starve. So that's pretty cool. Today, like I said, we are going to be complaining because my life has not been going very well for me at all. And so now I am going to make you all subjects to my complaints about it. Wow, these people dig me holes. Yes, dig me holes. I recently. So, how do I describe this in a way that doesn't just sound like me blabbering? Because this is a video about me blabbering a lot. You guys might be able to hear my keyboard clacking because it's mechanical, and I don't have a shotgun mic because I am poor. Um, Hopefully, you can't hear my dishwasher either because I am in the living room and there's a hatch. Oh, look at him. He's a hatch. He's a hatchling. Oh, yes, you eat the dirt. Anyways, this whole video is going to be like this me trying to say something and then getting distracted constantly. So if you're not okay with that, that sucks for you. Uh, um, if you don't know anything about this game, I suggest watching somebody that actually knows about this game because I'm just going to be blabbering through most of it. If you do know stuff about this game, I am so sorry that you have to watch me play it. Okay, let me tell you why I'm having such a hard time telling you things. So, back in January of this year, 2024, well, unless you're watching this future, which I don't know why you would. Back this year, and back in January 2024, on the 3rd, I was coming home on a bicycle and I got struck on the right hand side by a car, went flying over the car, and I wound up with brain damage. So that's why I'm going to be babbling a lot. Because this is brain damage land now. The past land you've experienced in the past is no longer me. That is now past Landon, who is probably more competent than I am. Where is the science stuff? What? We'll find them. Build beds. Um. Anyways, yeah, I have brain damage now, so that's fun. That's an enjoyable thing for me to enjoy. Um. So I'm gonna just complain about my life for a second after I get some of this crap out the way. Anyways, so we're gonna just complain about my life for just a minute. So, most of my life, I have actually been disabled and not known it. Uh, I know that sounds like, how could you be disabled and not know it? Uh, because I'm disabled and stupid and didn't know it. So, back in 2021, I first got with Kayla, and I got put under her insurance, thank goodness. and I got to a psychiatrist, and I was diagnosed with depression. Which, oh yeah, depression. It's a horrible disease, very horrible. But I was getting treatment, so yay! But the treatment wasn't really helping very much, and sometimes it would help, sometimes it wouldn't. And then we ended up moving up here to Washington in like 2022, and I got a new psychiatrist, and they right away diagnosed me with bipolar disorder, which I do in fact have. It does run in my family. So I am a bipolar person. I have bipolar type 2 with rapid cycling. I cycle monthly for some reason. So that's always a fun experience. Is it downtime? No, it's not downtime. What are you guys not working for? Go clear out this so you have nothing else to do. Anyways, yeah, so I have bipolar rapid cycling type 2. Yeah, it runs in my family. Didn't know it. Well, I knew it ran in my family. I just didn't know I had it. I also have chronic anxiety disorder. So now I take meds for both of those. My life has gotten much better since taking those medicines. But ever since the brain injury, my brain has, not enjoyed having those disorders, and so it's been a little bit difficult because of that. Um, yeah. Well, so most of my life I didn't know I had this. So schooling was pretty hard because I also apparently have ADHD. I have ADHD, bipolar disorder, chronic anxiety disorder, so fun, and then as well as mild autism. So yeah, schooling was pretty difficult for me. I excelled in some subjects because I hyperfixate because of both the bipolar and mild autism. But on some subjects I struggled so much with. Uh, but yeah, I did graduate school. Luckily, I did graduate school. I went off to college, and that's where I met Kayla. Is in college. Uh, but then that's where my life's biggest issues started. Was when I became an adult. As for most people, when you become an adult, life becomes harder. So back when I became an adult, like I graduated 2020 or 2014, and I was in college for about 2 years until 2017. Once 2017 rolled around, my mother kicked out my father, which is well and good and all. He was a really, really rude person. I did not like him. In fact, just between me and all of you people, he kind of made my life a living crap hole, and I despise him greatly. Um, I actually blame him for quite a bit of my life's problems, so that's fun. Um, anyways, anyways, yes, I'm sad. Ooh woo. Um, give me just a second to rearrange my thoughts in my head. Anyways, back in 2017, my mother kicked out my father, and then we became financially unstable, which usually means that people have to work to make money. So I had to drop out of school to get a job, which, I mean, for most people, they can do that. They can work at school and work a job, but because I was mentally disabled and did not know it at the time, it was nearly impossible for me to do both. So I had to choose one or the other, and it was either choose starving to death or going to school. So I chose not starving to death. Oh, sorry, I said that backwards. Yeah, you know what I meant. So I chose not starving to death because that sounds more fun than starving to death. And that's what I ended up doing is I dropped out of school, got a job at McDonald's, everybody's favorite chain restaurant, McDonald's. And it was pretty much a horrible time for me because around the same time, even though I had met Kayla, we weren't like together yet. We were just kind of friends at the time. She moved away across the country over to, well, not the country, across the state to another school so she could continue her education because she's a smart cookie. So she went off, got her education. I basically stayed here and had to work at McDonald's to supply my family with money. Um, Worked at McDonald's for about a year before I had my first mental breakdown. Well, not my first mental breakdown. My first mental breakdown at a job. I had a customer start screaming, shouting at him, quit on the spot. Um, had to find a new job because still had to help pay my mom's bills and stuff like that. So I found a job at good old Lowe's. Everybody's favorite Lowe's, or as I like to call it, blows because it blows. Yeah, so Lowe's, fun time, great time. Oh, the nightlights are keeping them up. Where did the nightlights even come from? When did I get nightlights? Why do I have so many nightlights? Don't worry, guys. I'll take care of this later. Um, so yes, we have uh, working at Lowe's. I worked at Lowe's for about 2 years, um, which was very difficult. Like it was a very difficult job for me because it was very physically demanding, very mentally demanding. Uh, but I'd say I did pretty good considering I held it down for 2 years. Before one day I was on top of a ladder and I started thinking, hey, wouldn't it be great if I just jumped off this? And I was like, I'm done with life. That's it. I'm just done. And so I started coming up with a plan on how to, make the life go away. And, you know, I sat down, came up with a plan, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, well, I have two options now. I can either go through with this plan or I can just quit my job and see where it goes from there. So I did that one instead, luckily. I decided to quit my job, so I just left work and never came back. Um, they can get over it. Um, because the bosses there were so rude. I'm going to complain about that job real quick. Like, they were so mean to me. Like, so mean. One of these times, like, one of the bosses came out there and cussed me out in front of the customers because apparently there was concrete in the trash can and he thought I did it, but I didn't do it. But he blamed me because someone else was like accused me of it. And then one of my coworkers just really hated me for some reason. I was a nice person to everybody, by the way. But he really hated me for some reason. It would always tell the bosses I was doing something I was supposed to be doing, and then the boss would come out there and scream at me for some reason. I don't know. It was a terrible job, and because I needed money and, I'm a little bit stupid, I just kind of accepted it as it was. Overall, being a bit older, I would have quit in a heartbeat. So I quit and I decided I'll just live off my savings for a while. I had around 10 grand saved up at this point, which I know sounds like a lot nowadays, but back then I didn't have any student loans, I didn't have any debts. I just had to help take care of my mom and go to work. That was basically all I did. Um, so I had that much money saved up, so I spent about a year helping my mom. I paid her about $1,000 a month, which, yes, is a lot. I paid her about $1,000 a month, and I spent quite a bit of money on other things. Like I decided to try to start myself up a business. Went pretty good. I can't disclose on YouTube what kind of business it was, but it was a business. It went pretty well. It was a legal business before. That sounds terrible. Yes, it was very legal. Um, I had it registered and everything, and I was going pretty good on it. But then I started running out of money because I was giving my mom $1,000 a month, and after about a year, you kind of start running out of money. This was back in 2020 is when I was doing this, so like peak pandemic. So that was going pretty good, and then I had to go find a new job. So I got one at Home Depot because I had experience with working in places like that. So I worked at Home Depot. I became a receiving person where I would unload trucks, and that went really well for me. What is wrong? Why are you upset? You're cold? How are you cold? This is supposed to be the ideal temperature zone. What's the temperature? It's 71 degrees Fahrenheit. My room's 70 degrees Fahrenheit and it feels wonderful in here. I'm just sitting in pajamas. What are you complaining about? And yeah, I know it's too bright. I was going to do something about that. Just going to move the bed over. Get rid of this bed. The tightest rooms ever. And that should help a bit. Anyways, yeah, so that was kind of how that went all for me. Um, terrible job. Uh, it was just terrible. The bosses were kind of really mean to me. One of them like decided to try picking a fight with me. I don't know what I did wrong, but like they just did not like me. I don't know. I guess because I'm just a very different person, a lot of people just don't understand me, or I just come across as different and weird, and they just don't like that because it's different and weird. But yeah, that was basically my life. Is I had to deal with stuff like that. Um, so I eventually like I worked there for like 6 months, and then I quit. But at the time, I did not know it, but I had severe gout, and of course, I didn't have like good insurance at the time because I had only been working there for like 6 months. I had severe gout, which was making it very difficult for me to move around. I didn't know what was wrong with me. I just knew I was in lots of pain, like in chronic amounts of pain. So I ended up quitting because I couldn't keep up. And then I ended up going to Staples. That job, if I didn't move up here, I'd still probably be working there. That job was amazing. If you ever want to work for a good company, work for Staples. Like for me, it was really nice. It was a very pleasant, slow speed job that didn't demand too much of me. Like I know I wasn't the best because I was a bit slower because I had gout, didn't know it. Yeah, so I only worked there for like 3 4 months, unfortunately, before I ended up moving in with Kayla. Yeah, so we moved in together across the state, and then after that, I no longer had to work because she financially supported me. I know that sounds really weird to anybody that's like hyper mask out there or likes the patriarchy, but yes, Kayla took care of me. Kayla supported me financially. She helped me out quite a bit. As far as my mom, I know some of you are like, oh, you left your mom financially responsible for herself. Yeah, yes, I did, and she turned out just fine. It turned out she didn't need as much of my help as I thought she needed, which does make me kind of upset because I did give her like $1,000 a month. I hope she's not watching this. Um, but yeah, that was about my life. So I kind of just accepted that that's how things were, and I just kind of went along with it. Uh, I need somewhere to put poop water. Why is there so much water underneath me? Put poop water here. And we can't put poop water there. Nobody's strong enough to do that. Okay. Anyways, can I put a battery down? I know I said anyways, but anyways, back to the video game that's so important. Uh, the reason I'm playing on slow sleep, by the way, is because I'm talking and using my brain, which is difficult. Yeah, so moved in with Kayla. We moved across the state. We're living very happily together, and then she, of course, graduated, and she's like, "Okay, well, I need to do something with my life," and I was like, "Yeah," and she's like, "What do I do with my life?" And I told her, "Well, I would love to live in Washington. That's where I want to live," and so I helped her find jobs up here in Washington. I made her apply to every job she could apply to, like every job, but it did kind of work. Like only one called her back, and that's where she's currently working. I'm not going to say where because obviously, privacy. Yeah, so she's now working a really good job. Makes plenty for both of us. So once again, I don't have to work. She supports me, which is wonderful because, yeah. And then I got diagnosed with bipolar, anxiety, blah blah blah. So I got put on those medicines. I got diagnosed with gout too, and I basically changed my entire diet to be more healthy. And now I'm doing much better because I take care of myself because I'm one of those people where if I understand what's wrong, I can take care of it. Like I didn't know that because of the diet I had, I was hurting myself. So yeah, now I have a better diet. Um, what do I want to do in the game now? Oh, we have to research. I would like to research food. Yes, I would like food. How do I assign just jobs? How do I make sure that only one of the people can work it? Not priorities, not schedules, skills. Not skills. Oh, yes, your priority. Your priority should be researching, your priority should be building, and your priority should be digging. I don't want you to research at all. And I don't want you to research at all. Only they're allowed to research. Cool. So now they'll be doing research stuff for me, which is awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's downtime. I don't have to pause. So yes, going through life with mental disabilities has been very, very difficult. Uh, I've only held down like 4 jobs my entire life. Could barely hold them down. Doing the business thing, while it was great, wasn't very profitable. It was very mentally satisfying and very made me very happy. But as far as making an income, like if I had pushed for it for like I don't know, like uh, a whole year or something like that, like longer, I think I could have made it pick up off the ground and like fully became like a way to actually make money and live off of. Because Kayla kind of took me in and like I had to like move across the country so many times. I had to kind of leave behind a lot of my investments into that business behind, so not really an option anymore. I do plan on getting back into it in the future, which I mean is awesome. So that's nice. So yeah, I have a brain injury now. I've become brain damaged. So because I have manic, I have monthly mania. So do I need oxygen? No, they're good on oxygen. So I have about monthly mania, which I mean, yeah, it's pretty bad. It sounds bad. So at the time, I was kind of manic, and I came up with this idea that I could go and become a dog walker and make some extra money. Which I know, like, we're not struggling financially. Like, we have debts and stuff like that. Like, like moving across the country is expensive. Going to school is expensive. Blah 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 blah. But I mean, like, it's not like I needed it, but like I wanted it, and so I figured, the best way to do that is just to go out and do it. So I went out and got myself a little dog walking job on Rover, which was lovely. If you live in a bigger place, I would recommend it. I was making some okay money off of it, definitely some good cash. I sold my trumpet from high school, and I sold my other 3D printers. I sold my Elegoo Saturn, my two Elegoo Marses, because I wanted to get a brand new Elegoo Saturn for what I was trying to do. And I also wanted to get a mini lathe for making crochet hooks. So, as I was trying to do that, I think they just finished the research. Okay, cool. Research something else. Research this. Cool. So, I came up with all the plans to do that and got all ready and had these great, wondrous ideas to do that. But then I was walking a dog. Walked the dog. Don't worry, the dog was fine. I walked the dog and I left the dog at its house. Got on my bike. Was riding home. Took a left-hand turn. And then a SUV, a big white Subaru, slammed into my right-hand side at about 30 miles per hour. I don't remember what happened, by the way. The last thing I remember is I was walking, or took care of the dog, walked it, got on my bike, and that was the last memory I had. And then I got hit by the car. Apparently, I flew up on top of it. I slammed into their windshield, destroyed their windshield, flew over that, landed on the ground, and then proceeded to have an 8-minute seizure on the ground. So that's always a fun experience. I hope no one else ever has to experience that. Uh, I don't want to duplicate yet. We don't even have food. This guy's suffocating to death. Let's see. Okay, and then put this here. We really want to insulate these as soon as possible. I don't have the insulating stuff yet because these tend to not like heat very much. Anyways, yeah, so that's kind of been my life. I keep saying that because my brain is broken, but so I got hit, flew over the car, hit my head, had an 8-minute seizure, proceeded to get taken to the hospital. They took me way down to the hospital. They did a MRI on my head. I was bleeding inside my brain, so I had a hemorrhage inside my brain. Um, I also had what's called a grade 3 DAI, which is one of the more severe types of brain damages. So that was nice. Why is it downtime? It doesn't need to be downtime. It needs to be work time. Anyways, if somebody dies, by the way, it's just because I'm not paying attention very well. I know they have poopy time, and did they have food? Uh, Not really. They'll be fine. Nobody needs food. Food is just a want, not a need. Uh, so yeah, I got distracted and I lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry, guys. This is going to happen a lot. Like, a lot. Where I'm just going to get completely distracted. I have no clue what I was even trying to say. I don't mean to know that research is complete. So yeah, I was in the hospital. When I finally became back to consciousness, I don't remember. I don't remember anything in the hospital, sadly. But apparently, when I came back to consciousness, I refused to open my eyes. I had a big black eye. I really messed up my head. Like, I had a cracked skull. Like, the front of my face was cracked. I had a black eye. And then I had brain damage. So, like, by the way, when I was riding this bicycle, just in case anybody's wondering, I was wearing safety gear. I was wearing not a bicycle helmet, but a motorcycle helmet, like a full face head coverage one that was DOT certified. I was wearing one of those just in case because I was riding an e-bike at the time because my legs don't work very well, so it's harder for me to get around. I also don't drive because the chronic anxiety disorder. Every time I get in a car or if we're driving, I kind of have miniature panic attacks. So that's fun too. So I wasn't even able to drive, which is partly why I got so hurt. Anyways, once again, train of thought left out my head. I don't remember what I was saying, guys. I'm so sorry. What was I saying? Yeah, I can't drive. The doctors even told me I'm not legally, well, not illegally, but the doctors recommended I don't drive for a year because my brain's been bonked, but not like I could do that anyways. But yeah, walking the dogs was fun. I didn't end up getting my 3D printers and my mini lathe because all that money went straight into medical debt because, hospitals are very expensive. I live in the USA, of course, so things like that are pretty expensive. I once again don't remember what I was talking about. I'm so sick of this. Anyways, I woke up in the hospital. I don't remember ever waking up. Well, I'll get back to that part in a little bit. So even though I woke up in the hospital, I was not sentient. I woke up in the hospital, and I was just hallucinating nonstop. I swore I was on a spaceship somewhere in outer space. Did these me fertilizer? Yeah, these me fertilizer. It'll be fine. I thought I was in the spaceship in outer space, and then I thought there were giant squirrels outside, even though I was not near a window. I swore there were giant squirrels outside, and they were scaring me. I was just saying the most random stuff possible. I had no clue what I even said, but I was saying all kinds of weird stuff. So it was just not mentally here at all. Um, when I first became sentient again, which was about 2 weeks after I was admitted in the hospital, so that whole 2 weeks there, I don't think I was even here, honestly. But yeah, so after about 2 weeks, I became quotation mark sentient again. I like to describe it, it's almost like my soul crawled back into my body. Like, I think I got hit hard enough that my soul left my body. But that's just me. Even though I have brain damage, I'm not, like, stupid. I'm just having a little bit of a harder time dealing with things. I would like the food box, not the beater. I will move the food box later. I had no clue. Oh, yeah, so when I became a sentient again, I was still hallucinating at the time, but this is like the last major hallucination I had. Is I woke up, I was a little bit confused where I was because I had my eyes closed, and I opened my eyes and I see the edge of a medical bed, and I'm just like, where am I? I didn't know I was in a medical bed. I was just in a weird bed. So the last thing I remember is I got on my bike after walking the dog, and then I woke up in this bed. That was my whole experience at this point. So I woke up in this bed. I'm just a little bit confused. So I usually sleep with a plushie. His name is Tom. He's a little skunk, as you can imagine, a little tiny skunk, really cute. So I'm hugging him. I'm holding him, and I'm just like, well, I have Tom, and I'm all dressed in my clothes at this time and in a comfy bed. So I'm just like a little bit more confused, but it's not really that big of a deal. Just a little bit confused. Uh, I need not to focus on the game for a second. Okay, I'm gonna leave a note here, leaving a mental note that I was talking about Tom in bed. That sounds really, really dirty. Um, anyways, coming back to my mental note, I was in bed with Tom. Once again, sounds really dirty. Uh, so I wake up with Tom, having my hands. I look up like from bed, a little bit confused where I am, and I see what I can only amount to a pigeon man. So he was a man with the head of a pigeon, standing by the window, holding a broom in his hands with a high vis vest on, and I'm just like, okay. And then I watch him jump out the closed window, and I'm just like, okay. And then I hear the door open. I turn once again. I don't recognize this room at all. And it was a really weird room. So it was just like, imagine like a schoolroom, like a classroom, but right in the middle, there's just a medical bed, but nothing else. That's just it. Just a medical bed with like a table near it, and that's all you got. And I don't know. The ceiling had rainbows on it, like ceiling, like imagine like school ceiling tiles, but they had rainbows and stuff on them, which was really really weird to me. Obviously because I was in the middle of nowhere. Anyways, I hear the door open, look over, and in comes my mom and my sister, who both live back in New Mexico. I live in Washington now, so I'm just like, okay. And then I see my girlfriend Kayla walk in, and I'm just like, I must be dreaming. I'm dreaming because like I have no clue where I am. I feel really, really weird and delirious. Wasn't in pain at the time, but just really confused. Uh, so yeah, that's what's going on at that moment, and I'm just confused, and so I decide I'm just dreaming, and then I ask them where am I, and they're like, you're in a hospital. You got hit by a car, and I'm like, I got hit by a car. Basically, just imagine if you're just confused out of your mind, but you can imagine the rest of it, that how it went. I can only remember a few times in the hospital. Like I remember eating and complaining, and I complain a lot, so that was an interesting event in my life. So that's how that went for me. Didn't go terribly. I mean, I didn't die, so I'd say it went pretty good. Uh, how long does it take for food to grow? I can't help but notice my oxygen's starting to disappear. So that's just how that went for me. Now that I'm out of the hospital, I'm doing better. Still have brain damage. That's never going to go away, honestly. Um, also, when I got hit by a car, I broke my back. Not paralyzed, broken, but like I fractured my L1 vertebrae. It was an implosion fracture. So that's fun. That's been hurting a lot. Uh, It's gotten better. I can bend over now and do things because the bone started healing up, but because it got flattened, it's pinching nerves, and that hurts quite a bit. I'm not allowed to take any ibuprofen or NSAIDs because apparently because I had a brain bleed. They're worried that if I do, it could open up the blood clot in my brain and make me die. So that's fine. I've also been warned not to fall down because I could die if I do that. Uh, just lots of you could die things, and I don't like that very much. Uh, so they've told me I can only take Tylenol, which doesn't really work on me. So I just kind of been in constant pain. I go back to the doctor on the 4th, and I'm going to ask him for some type of painkiller or if I can take ibuprofen again or what, because this isn't working. Uh, I feel really, really not happy. And then there's the whole bipolar and anxiety thing. Ever since I got hit, the medications don't seem to be working as well. I've told my psychiatrist, but we're kind of waiting to see uh, what happens because it's a brand new brain injury. It hasn't been very long. Um, yeah, that's basically what's going on with that. Is I'm just kind of waiting. So I'm just kind of waiting around in pain. That's my story. That's what I'm doing. Um. Oh yeah, no, I do have more to complain about. Brain forgot because brain damage. So I've been applying for disability because I had all those previous mental issues, and well, currently how I have brain damage with those mental issues. So I was like, yeah, I should probably just try applying for disability. So applying for that, my chances of that going through is pretty slim. Yes, applying for that, my chances of getting are pretty low apparently because apparently going into disability is very difficult. Most people need a lawyer and stuff like that. So I just applied for it. If I don't get it, I don't get it. If I get it, I get it. Yeah, I applied for food stamps for now because well, I haven't been working. I'm unemployed, so I got on food stamps. That kind of helps a bit because then I can use that money for food and use the money I save for the things I was trying to. I'm still just trying to make my life as comfortable as possible because I mean that's everybody's goal, but yeah, that's been how it's going for me. To anybody still watching, it's been like 43 minutes of me complaining about being brain broken. I hope you like this Oni playthrough, if you can call it that. Uh, have a great day. I love you all. Bye.